Scotiabank Saddledome, Brendan Parker to get you set for the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Calgary Flames Part 2 here this evening. Before we do that, welcome, by the way, to the Flames TV Live, brought to you by Budweiser. But we want to remind you about the Saddledome Live app and get you all set for that before puck drop, because during all Calgary Flames home games this season, you'll have the chance to participate in interactive games right from the comfort of your own home with the Saddledome Live app. Make sure you open it up, check in on the fan game section, play along tonight and all season long for a chance to win great prizes delivered by Skip the Dishes simply by checking in with us. And right up until puck drop tonight, you can play along with the Calgary Flames Score 4 predictive game, correctly predict 4 scenarios tonight and win a chance to take home a Calgary Flames jersey. Once again, the game is now live, but only up until puck drop, so less than 15 minutes. You just go to the Saddledome Live fan games section for your chance to win. All right, before we tee up tonight, let's take a look back at Sunday.
Marner turns back to the line. Long shot. Muzzin scores, and that was deflected on the way by. And the defenseman, Jake Muzzin, with the shot from the point, makes it 1-0 Toronto. Throw down low. Monahan shoots, stopped, rebound. In behind the net. Monahan trying to bank it in. Scores! Across. Marner to the circle. Towards the goal, they score! Deflected in by Simmons. It may have gone off a flame again. Shot off the boards by Hyman is turned aside. In front, and it goes in off Anderson. Another goal off a flame skate. And Anderson can't believe it. It's 3-1 Toronto. Anderson back to it. Lindholm from the circle. Scores! The Toronto Maple Leafs on a goal by Wayne Simmons proves to be the game winner. Flame.
Well, despite that late push from the Calgary Flames in the final 3.5 minutes, they end up falling 3-2, their first regulation loss of the season. But the good news is, because of this condensed schedule, they get right back at it tonight against that very same opponent to wrap up this 2-game mini set against the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's also the final game of this 4-game homestand. The the Calgary Flames then move out east for the start of a 5-game road trip starting in Montreal. Well, as for last game, well, as you saw in those highlights, a couple of fortuitous bounces, the difference in favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs, but the Calgary Flames overall felt that they played a pretty good game and looking to bounce back here this evening.
Toronto tests like everything about you. They go to the net well, and we saw that. I mean, they got goals. They got some greasy goals going to the net, and that's what you need. So, I mean, as much as we were happy with our play for a large part of the hockey game, they did some things that made a difference, and going to the net hard was one of them. So, I think we're pleased overall with the first game coming off that break.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I guess a couple of those goals that they scored were a bad bounce, but we could always tighten up in the defensive zone and the neutral zone. I think they're coming through with a lot of speed. Sometimes, obviously, they got good, strong, fast forwards up there, so we got to do a good job of slowing them down, keeping them in front of us, and just keep it simple and play strong defense against these guys.
Probably one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing in this league. Individually do every player, but as a team, I think you play a lot of games, and sometimes you have good stretches and sometimes you have bad ones, but I think you got to be ready to play full 60 minutes every night, because if you have bad 10 minutes, it could be 3 goals for the other team. So and then the other way, you might have a really good 10 minutes and you score a couple, but you can't stop it there. So I think that's probably the biggest thing. And I think as a team, once we kind of establish how to do that every night, then I think that'll be really helpful for us.
Well, we talked right off the top about the Calgary Flames and that late push to find the equalizer late in the hockey game. It produced a couple of scrums around the crease, and it was a topic that somehow got some legs on Monday. One of the scrums that resulted in Matthew Tkachuk falling on Jack Campbell. It was a situation quickly dismissed by both teams. Tkachuk addressed it this way.
No, it was just a battle in front. I actually thought I tipped it and went in. 6-on-5 situation, just bang away at the puck, and I live that area. I live in that crease area throughout the games, and I'm just digging for a puck. Broads was I was battling with Broads a little bit there. Guys started coming in, and Just got knocked over, and obviously didn't no intention of falling into him or anything like that. That's a complete, just a classic thing to try to accuse me of there.
Are we really talking about this? Like, seriously. I mean, I'll tell you what I saw in the play. I mean, if people are wondering, did Matthew hurt the goaltender? He didn't get hurt on that play. He got hurt earlier. And he stood in there and toughed the rest of the game out, which is a credit to him. But, on that play, Juuso threw the puck into the pads. The puck is not covered. It's loose. And Matthews, off the deflection, is trying to track the loose puck down. And, Broads comes in behind him and actually puts his leg in between his skates and cuts under him. And I think he loses his balance and just sort of falls into him with Broads. So, to me, it's a play that happened in the flow of the hockey game. And you know what? To be honest with you, if that's anybody else, we're not even talking about it.
Well said by both men, and we move on to the actual game action. As for who to watch tonight, well, let's focus on a couple of stars for both teams. Number 34 for the Toronto Maple Leafs returned to the lineup after missing one game against the Edmonton Oilers. He did score a goal, but as we saw, he got a nice little bounce as well off the skate of Rasmus Andersson and in. It was his first career goal against the Flames. As for the Calgary Flames, well, it's a guy that has been red hot to start the season. A 4-game point streak, 2 goals and 5 points in that time. Also leads all Calgary Flames in the face-off circle. Has been good defensively as well. That line has been off to a great start for the Calgary Flames. Let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs for a moment. They make a couple of changes up front. They also make a goaltending change, and once again talk about trying to take advantage of these 2-game mini sets and maybe some spacing in the standings if you can win both.
These 2 or 3 game sets are really important. I think if you are going to try to separate yourself from the pack, you need to be able to win them. You need to be able to win back-to-back games, and it's not easy. And then, of course, on the other side of it, if you want to hang around, it's important that you don't lose, 2 in a row. So we've had that attitude when we were on the losing side of it, and now we're up 1 here when we want to make sure we come out today knowing that Calgary is going to have a great response.
It's just different all the way around, considering what we're going through and what we face in a traditional season, 82 games, and obviously playing all the teams and less within your division. So I think that'll only continue to increase and become more apparent as the season goes on.
And this just moments ago as the Toronto Maple Leafs and Calgary Flames wrapped up warm-ups. These were the jerseys that every single Toronto Maple Leaf wore in honor of the late George Armstrong, who passed away on Sunday. The longest-serving captain in Toronto Maple Leafs history, served for 12 years, a big figure in Toronto circles, but NHL circles as well. The late George Armstrong. All right, let's talk about need to know now. Point streaks is one of the themes for the Calgary Flames. 4 of them on the line here tonight. 4 guys who have started with a point in each and every single game. Monahan, Gaudreau, Rasmus Andersson, and Elias Lindholm. 450 now. That is the mark for Johnny Gaudreau in terms of career points. 2 points behind Eric Vail for the top 10 in franchise point scoring. And then the number 500, also of meaning. Now 500 goals in 139 games all time for the Calgary Flames against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That dates all the way back to their first meeting when it was the Atlanta Flames back in 1972. All right, let's talk about the goaltending matchup here tonight. No surprise for the Calgary Flames. They go right back to Jacob Markstrom, who has been sensational to start the season so far. And as mentioned, 3 goals that all go off a deflection last night, or I should say on Sunday afternoon against. And then for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Jack Campbell now out a couple of weeks. So they turn to Frederik Andersen, who will make his 6th start of the season. Michael Hutchinson will back him up this evening. And there's Jacob Markstrom. The numbers have sparkled through the early part of this season. 226 goals against and a .928 save percentage. Back in for his 5th consecutive start here tonight. That does it for the pregame show. You're all set for round number 2 between the Calgary Flames and the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll get you to the game action in just a moment, but first let's check in on the Calgary Flames Foundation Online 50/50, brought to you by RE/MAX. The pot now over 172,000. Of course, as always, that is open from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. for every Calgary Flames home and away game. Get your tickets at calgaryflames.com/50/50. Let's get you to puck drop now. The Flames and the Leafs up next. Enjoy the game. We'll see you at the intermission.
Stopped by Campbell, bouncing puck, Hanifin to Monahan.